Hello. Welcome to the Make It While You Fake It podcast. A podcast about running a custom furniture and woodworking business while also trying to start a community makerspace outside of Philly. All without having any formal education in woodworking or in business. I'm Dan Skirma from Woe Shop Woodworking and Monco Makers, and I'm glad that you're here with us.
I did it. Yeah. I survived.
Oh, yeah.
And I did not get one, but I got 2 medals.
Aw, that's adorable.
2 medals. I got a participation trophy and a placing trophy.
Oh, good. So they gave you a medal and a real one.
Well, so
you're one of 3. We got to give you something.
So the company that put this on is called Steelman Racing. They do a bunch of shit in the area, like triathlons. They do running races and open swim, stuff like that. All kind of centered around the Lake Nakamixon area.
Nice.
And they do 3 like open water swimming races. And each one of the participation medals for those is like a third of a circle with magnets.
Oh, yeah.
And
I have one in my car, in my truck.
They fit together. How do you have what?
Yeah, I have one in my truck.
Why do you have one?
Because my neighbor, before he moves, wants me to make like kind of frames for them. He does like not triathlons, but
that's cool.
He does the what are you, the races that are like that? There are names for them, like Tough Mudder, like whatever.
Oh yeah, those things.
I forget what the one with the like the Greek shit Apache races, like something. I don't know.
I think the motion he just did was
Spartan
like a
races.
javelin throw?
Spartan races.
A Spartan race.
He does Spartan races.
Good for him.
Yeah. And he's
guy.
older than me. He's like 47.
Yes.
Loves them. So he does these Spartan, but he'll travel to New York. He'll travel to Boston, DC, wherever, and he'll do these
People go hard for those races, dude.
Yeah, and they're in like the one in Philly is in Lincoln Financial Field. Yeah. Like it's crazy. But he does those, and he generally places. He's in really great shape, and he gave me 2 of these, and he's like, come up with something. I don't care what. Some cool thing, even if it's just like a small like cookie slab or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Cut it out, get them in there, and then if it looks good, all my buddies will probably order them. I was like, well, that's kind of cool.
There you go.
But alas, I don't.
Here we are.
I don't think I'll be taking on that commission right now.
Nope.
Well, before that, hey everyone, welcome back.
What's up, internet? What the fuck is going on?
Today's a podcast that we haven't done in a while. Again, we had like a 3-week break. Now we had another 3-week break, and there are reasons for that.
We back, baby.
We back again. For now, we're back again, and we have a 6-pack of beer for this one because this one's gonna get colorful because there's a lot to update you on. First off, we're gonna start off with good stuff. Good stuff is we still have 1 patron. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. Keith is fantastic. But aside from that, you want to support the show, patreon.com/Monco Makers. So the good news is I just acquired a ton of tools.
Effectively fitting out most of the shop.
Yes. So
there's a couple little things like overall dust collection that you're gonna have to do, but at this point you're set.
So just to go over some of the stuff I bought. So my buddy Brian Orquist, who was on this show a couple months ago now. He was on the show. He's up in Port Jervis, New York. Does some amazing stuff. Has a sawmill. Has a kiln. Has a whole farm, chickens, and all the fun stuff.
Got a lot of chickens.
But so I bought a 37-inch drum sander from him, which is fantastic. I've always wanted one that was wide enough to fit most tables. It's not the end one that I wanted, but it is certainly going to suffice for now.
It'll get you there.
It'll get me there. It's a double drum sander, the Grizzly 37-inch. It's a huge motor, weighed like 1,200 pounds. So I picked that up with a U-Haul trailer in the rain, and that was entertaining.
It's always in the rain.
It's either in the basement or the rain.
Sometimes it's both.
So the second tool I went, that was my second stop. The first stop was over at Chris Zepp's place in Long Island. And there I got a really cool Delta 20-inch planer, which is also a workhorse beefcake type thing. I really enjoy the gearbox lever for adjusting the table height.
Huge gizmosity.
I love that because I can just take the panel off and just watch it. It's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
So we got that. So we got a second 20-inch planer. So now we have two of those. The drum sander was huge because we have one, but that's crap. That one over there. That one's pretty weak.
Yeah. You know, man.
And then we have the time saver, which needs a little bit of work. Well, about $1,500 worth of work, but
yeah, roughly.
Or if someone who knows what they're doing at the makerspace, like, I don't know, if they're tinkering around and they have time and they're getting paid to fix stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they fix it. But
I mean, realistically, the biggest thing that it needs is to be hooked up to power.
Well, that, yeah. And there's like a sensor or two.
Yeah.
But like
realistically, the sensor that's like fucked on it, for lack of a technical phrase.
Sure.
It's actually not completely necessary for it to run.
Okay.
It's only necessary for it to oscillate.
Okay. Gotcha.
So as long as you're not, like, if you baby it, it'll run through just fine right now.
Gotcha.
You would just disable the tracking motion.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
like you can easily burn stuff if you try to hog any kind of material.
If you're a little bit aggressive with it, it will start to burn, but no more or less than a drum sander would.
Yep.
Because a drum sander doesn't oscillate, and you actually have exponentially less surface area to absorb the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been my spiel as far as like drum sanders over belt sanders kind of thing.
Yeah.
Personally, if I ever had the choice, I would go with a belt sander.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
But the price difference.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot mechanically that goes into a belt sander.
Yeah.
Whereas a drum sander is literally just
2
or 3 drums and a couple drive rollers and a conveyor belt.
So the thing was, the price was definitely right for this. He got a great deal on it and just passed me the deal.
Hell, so we love
Brian,
a homie passing the deal.
Dude, my man. He knew what it was worth. He knew what he can get for it. He's like, you know what? I got it for this much. I'll give it to you for that much. I'm not using it. I don't have room for it. If you come get it, you can have it.
Well, he does like YouTube content stuff, right?
He doesn't. Chris Sepp does.
Okay.
Brian doesn't do much of that, but Brian deals with he deals with the Costa Rican guy, and he gets monkey pod slabs and.
Oh, he's the dude that does the slab stuff.
Yeah.
That explains why you had the sander then.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. You know what? When we were unloading it that day, I meant to ask you why he had that.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to grow, and his shop isn't big. He built a building on his property specifically for his shop, but his shop is might be 40 by 40.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but like he also has a 4 by 8 CNC.
Sure.
He has some bigger machines, and he has a lot of the slabs in there too. So he runs out of space quickly.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, but no. So we got the drum sander, or not the drum sander. Drum sander.
Drum sander and a planer.
Got the drum sander and planer, and then 2 days ago, I responded to a Facebook post, and I love this because it's a Facebook group that I've started and have run for the last, I guess, 7 or 8 years.
Called out playing the long game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just for a local woodworker maker group on Facebook, just in our counties. It's got 600 or 700 members.
A modest following.
A modest following for literally not advertising at all.
Hey,
half of those people are probably real people.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Have we advertised this podcast in that group?
In the beginning, not recently. I'm going to, though.
I was going to say, we should do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
Might be able to double our patrons.
Exactly. We can get 2. Up to 2.
It sounded better the way I said it.
Oh, whoops. But this guy.
It's like winning third place when there's only 3 people.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, this guy's wife posted on the Facebook page, said, "Hey, we have some tools that my husband's selling," and then showed some pictures, and the pictures looked like brand new stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I was intrigued, and there were a couple pieces in there that were really eye-catching pieces. So I just messaged them. I'm like, "Here's my number. Give me a call." And generally, that's where those conversations end.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a ring 2 minutes later, and it was the guy. And he's like, "Hey, so my wife, so whatever, we want to come see stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he pretty much got 7 or 8 responses within a few minutes because the stuff looked so nice.
Oh, I would be shocked if he didn't.
And you're right.
That
So
is some primo merchandise.
So when I got over there, he's just like, "First off, you actually answered your phone and you came over when you said you'd come over, so you have first dibs on everything." I was like, "Hell yeah."
That's what we love to
It's like,
hear.
my man. Now he had a notebook, he had all the machines, and he had the prices that his wife had looked up. I was like, okay. So those prices were all new prices.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right. Well, and the first thing I said was, well, I'm opening a makerspace / school, and I would love to have this stuff in there. He's like, "That's exactly where I want this stuff to go." I'm like, okay. The only reason he's getting rid of it is because his kids are now out of the house. He's retiring. His back is shot, and they're downsizing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're downsizing.
So he just doesn't need all this stuff. So he's a machinist by trade, also does commercial electric and whatever. But when I say there was not a speck of dust in the entire shop, I am absolutely not joking. I could not find dust anywhere. There were finished pieces there, but no dust.
Oh yeah.
No dust on any machine. Every machine looks like he wiped it down with alcohol or whatever after every single use.
Oh yeah.
Absolute pristine. And
people do clean up after themselves.
I mean, this was another level. You would think that this would be like a YouTuber's studio because they never actually like make real stuff. I don't have like a production shop, but like, man, oh man. So what we ended up getting. So what I liked is I spoke about a lot of things that I liked. I said some stuff that I was definitely not interested in. I don't need another dust collector at this point. I have 3 and we'll get into it, but I already spoke to Oneida, so I have that on the back burner too. But I didn't need that. I wasn't into another small form bandsaw.
Nah.
I have 2, and you have the Powermatic. We have 3 of them, right? We have plenty of those.
There's plenty of
But
bandsaws.
they all work great, so whatever.
Plus, dude, bandsaws are cheap, and you can get them every day of the week.
Absolutely, they're everywhere.
Everybody's selling bandsaws.
So I was like, I don't want that. But he had a Delta Unisaw, a mid '90s Unisaw in mint condition. Had the 52-inch rails. Had the Unifence that Mike's all hyped up about. Had a big old nice shelf on the bottom. The entire thing had the mobile base with the mobile base that extended to the extension wing. So the whole thing just rolls with a finger.
Love that.
Freaking awesome. So that's wired up for 2. So that's the one thing is that none of that stuff's 3-phase.
Even better.
Fine.
I'm
better. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, you could run that shit anywhere.
So most of it's 220. Easy. Most of it runs on 220 with like a 20 amp circuit. You're fine. Easy. So Unisaw, got that. We got another pretty much the identical 20-inch Powermatic planer that we have, except this one's straight knives, but honestly, I don't care. Straight knives have been used for decades. It'll be fine.
Oh,
and honestly, he has the manual with every machine. He has all the accessories with every single machine. He has all the original tools that they came with. So he has like the knife setting thing.
Oh, dude, that's the
magnetic
right
knife
there.
setter that goes. I was like, this is fantastic. Then changing blades takes 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's the way.
So we got the Powermatic 20-inch straight knife planer. Got a Powermatic 8-inch joiner with straight knives that looks like he never even used it. It is so clean, not rust on any of these things. Got that. Then got so here's the thing. I wasn't going to get the planer because I was like, I just got another planer. Now we have 2 planers. I don't need a third. He's like, how about we cut that number in 2/3? I was like, okay. So that planer I got for $500, which I'm like, okay.
That's not bad.
That's a $4,000 planer.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
That ain't
Even
bad.
now, I looked up all these things new now.
Yeah.
It made sense. The one that got me was the 20-inch Mini Max bandsaw.
The true crown jewel of the collection.
That brand new is $7,000, and that's pretty much what I paid for this entire lot of stuff. And then, so this is the thing. So when I said I didn't want the planer, he's like, "You're already gonna be here. You're already gonna get all this stuff. You're getting the joiner. They kind of go together." I'm like,
They kind of go together.
I was like, all right. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
it's like, I already have to. He's like, how about $500? I was like, okay, because the number on the pad was $1,500. I was like, all right, fine, I'll take it. That's fine. He has one of those dual sander things, those Delta dual sanders with the circular or whatever. The belt sander,
Yeah,
and
the
then
belt disc.
Yeah, the belt disc sander,
Yeah.
whatever. Again, doesn't look like it's you, but that's the thing. All of these machines also have full dust collection ports already wired up to them because he had no dust anywhere.
Yep.
So he
there it
has
is.
the right fitting going in the right direction, ready to go for the sander, for the planer, for the joiner on the bottom of the joiner, the unisaw, everything. So he had all that. So I got that. But then he's like, "So I got other stuff." I'm like, "Keep talking." I was like, and I told him right off, I'm like, "I'm kind of maxed out for how much I wanted to spend." He goes, "That's fair enough. Do you like clamps?" Like,
do you like clamps?
say more. So got about a dozen 48-inch to 60-inch parallel clamps, Bessie parallel clamps that he threw in,
Like the bar clamps?
like the parallel clamps,
Wow. That's nice.
like the heavy duty ones from 20 years ago. So threw in
that's like
those,
real
threw in
nice.
a bucket of 36 to 40-inch pipe clamps.
All right.
Threw in a bucket of brand new hand screws, like the Jorgensen hand screws they have their place. They can be helpful in certain things.
I'm a big fan of the hand
I
screws.
like them a lot,
They're
especially
very
doing
useful.
like drill press and shit like that, just for holding stuff and clamps or jigs and stuff for a table saw. I do like them.
I don't like them for any of the things that you just listed.
Oh, I've used them for all that shit.
They're just
Easy.
They're really nice for doing like weird clamping on your workbench, and you can get a lot of clamping pressure with them.
Yeah,
So they're
like
they're good for forcing boards where they don't want to go.
I like using them to clamp like literally a piece of plywood to the bench, and so I could use that block of plywood to clamp sideways, in a weird orientation or something. Yeah, so we threw in all those, and then he just kept on like, "Oh, and I have this back room, and then there's just shit back there too."
Amazing.
So there is definitely going to be more stuff that's probably going to come home.
Beautiful.
Once we're there, he's like, it's in a basement, but it's 7 steps and it's clear. Once you're up to the 7th step, there's no lip at the top of the steps, and it is level with the front door. It's level with the driveway. It's level with everything once you're up there. So,
but you got to get up there.
You got to get up there. Now, this guy got this stuff down.
Yeah, but remember, you got gravity for the assist on the downward slope.
It makes me more nervous going downhill. Down steps. Yeah. Having to take my 15-inch jet planer down my basement steps, a full staircase of 13 stairs, was really petrifying, especially how top heavy that thing was.
I see.
But I think a little deadlift and the person on the bottom push forward. I think we'll get up there, no problem. The Mini Max will be awkward because
that's a big bitch.
I do like that it has the whole built-in, similar to your Roblin thing, has a built-in handle.
Yeah.
Whatever, which is kind of cool.
Most of the, we'll call it nice machinery out there has built-in mobility like that.
Yep.
Like a lot of the newer Laguna stuff has that.
Yep. Yeah. My bandsaw has it.
Yeah. That stuff's nice.
But I like it because every single thing, the joiner, the planer, the bandsaw, the unisaw, every single thing had full dust collection ports already ready, had full mobile bases for all of it. It was just a great deal. And I'm pretty sure once we're there, he's probably just going to throw in the sander. And
you're going to get more out of that.
Exactly.
For sure.
So that was awesome. So we pretty much outfit a lot of what is needed for the shop. We have duplicates of stuff now, which is really cool. So we have enough drill press. We have enough bandsaws. We now have technically 3 table saws. We got 3 planers. We got 4 dust collection units as it stands now. We have 2 joiners now.
Yeah.
We got enough stuff to get started. Absolutely, for sure.
And you know what though? The other thing, especially like with the planer that you just bought.
Yep.
Personally, I would sell that just for profit.
It's not a bad move.
Because
yeah.
Are you planning on setting up more than one shop?
So I plan on having the member shop with everything in there.
And a classroom.
And then a classroom. Well, 2 classrooms to start. One that's just lathes and one that is a classroom with just the tools to run the classes in there. So probably a joiner, planer, table saw.
Okay.
And that might be it. Maybe throw a bandsaw in there because it takes up no space.
I was going to say, you're going to need at least 2 bandsaws.
Yeah.
And then
we'll have a bandsaw with a thin blade. We'll have one with a resaw blade.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you're going to need is router tables.
Yep.
In the classrooms.
So what I did was I've been working with Grizzly, and I love how easy it is to get started with them. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's not the top of the line stuff, but honestly, it is as good as you need to get started.
Dude, for the functionality that you need for a classroom, Grizzly is fine.
So when I spoke to their business department there, when you build like a business relationship with them, they pretty much just say, just send us an order.
Yeah.
And if it's over, it's a minimum of $5,000 to like kind of get into their business program where you have a dedicated rep and you have a dedicated line for support, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you're over $10,000, they can start knocking prices down.
Yeah.
For bulk pricing on it. So I put in into a cart. I put in 6 lathes to get started. I put in, I forget what all the stuff is, but now that I bought a lot of stuff, I put in another joiner. I put in another planer.
Sure.
So that all that kind of stuff can come off. It was roughly around $30,000 worth of stuff.
That's not bad at all.
It was a couple, router bit sets. It was like basic shit like that. It was a 2 router tables, basic stuff. And so then I talked to Oneida because the guy up the road that's selling a truckload of 14-inch Nordfab connectors, which he's sitting on probably $5,000 worth of stuff, wants $500 for it.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, well, before I get that, let me talk to Oneida. Spoke to Oneida, said 15 amp or a 15 horsepower collector that stays indoors with an airlock was around $18,000. And then he said, for estimating purposes, because you don't know your shop layout yet, he's like, for every drop, it's about $1,000.
That sounds about right.
He's like, that's what it will be in connectors, in runs from the main spine to get to where you got to go. That's a good average to think about. And then you just throw some flex hose at the bottom.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll be around $1,000 a drop. This guy has enough to probably get a lot of the main spines into the little tentacles or whatever.
Sure.
The ribs. I don't know. What's connected to your spine? I guess.
Muscles. Tendons.
All right. So it's your multiple tendons.
There you go.
So, I mean, we're looking at roughly $50,000 of machinery left to finance to open. In addition to what we have now, that number's a little less because of what I just did. So,
okay.
You can probably drop that to like $25,000 or whatever.
Not for nothing. That is, in modern days, a relatively small car payment.
It is, because then it's also spread out over around 5 or 6 years with the financing.
Okay, so you're looking like $350 a month, depending on your interest, which is effectively 2 members,
pretty much. So that's what the cash flow thing is now showing.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, if I have two members, I can pay for the machinery. Cool.
There it is.
Awesome.
Easy.
I still have to speak to. I've been playing phone tag with the insurance guy to talk about some insurance stuff, but there's also a building location. You know where the Acme corrugated boxes is off the turnpike? It's right off Davisville Road.
Corrugated box.
So if you get on the turnpike and go toward Jersey,
Oh, yes.
you pass it every day.
I've been in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's also a metal
Yep.
metal supplier right behind it, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Building next to Acme is available.
Ooh, that's a nice area back there.
It's a nice spot.
Yeah.
There are some really cool places back there. The metal supplier, the corrugated box guys. There's a pretzel place. There's I forget what other like a manufacturing facility that's back there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
15,000 square feet,
That's a good number.
$950 triple net per year per foot.
Wow.
So we're talking under $11,000 a month for rent for the full space that I would want. Loading dock, heat already, fire suppression, concrete building with parking
Wow.
in a great spot. Now you can't see that spot from like, the road or anything, but you pass it every day on the turnpike. Have a big old sign on the roof or something. See what they let you do. But it's clean.
That is
It's a good spot.
wild.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Davisville Road.
That is honestly a shockingly low number,
Yes,
considering everything that's available there.
exactly. So that's the one I'm basing it off of. That's what I'm basing my cash flow projections off of. And at this point, I am 4 weeks from talking to the bank.
Okay.
So I have a call next week with the score guy to go over what I did with the cash flow. I just have to get numbers for insurance, and numbers that I'm seeing for insurance so far, even with all the liability, even with having kids in there, even with all this kind of stuff, is in like the $3,000 a month.
Yeah, no, it is not bad.
It is not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it would equal rent. Like I literally had no idea how much liability with that kind of stuff is. They're like, and that's for $2 or $3 million of coverage.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's really not,
Dude,
not horrible.
I remember way back when I saw, I forget why I was looking at it. Maybe I think I was the only person there. It was like one of our like heavy vacation season weeks at Philly Woodworks.
Yep.
And I think I had to like write a check or something for a lumber order that came in for the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what my old boss was paying for insurance.
Oh, really?
And that blew my mind how low the insurance was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and that is literally the first thing that every single person that you talk about this makerspace with. Oh, we're gonna have kids class. So like, you're gonna have kids around power saws?
wow, man, they're gonna cut their hands off.
I was like,
wow.
first off,
They're just gonna jump right into that table saw blade, aren't they?
First off, they won't, and they don't.
Yeah.
Once every 10 years, someone will have like a serious injury. Like if you run your place in a safe manner, that shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
yes, there's always a risk. There's a risk driving down the street. You pass one out of every 100 drivers you pass is already drunk.
Yeah.
It's like,
there's so in the entire time that I have known about Philly Woodworks, which at this point is getting dangerously close to a decade.
Yep.
That business has had one maybe two catastrophic injuries.
Yep.
And one was after I had left there even.
Yeah.
So I wasn't working there at the time, but a kid kind of took a skim cut off of his palm on the joiner.
Right. Which is one of the things you'd probably imagine. It's table saw or joiner.
Exactly.
Yep.
He was, I forget what he was doing. I think he was doing prep work or something. It just the board exploded.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He hit a little shake and it threw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, that's the thing. So I'd start looking at the numbers there. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, so project how many members you realistically think are going to start paying. It's like, all right, the first month, 4. I was like, I think I can get 4 members in the first month.
Oh, you'll get way more than that in the first month.
And that's the thing. I feel like there's going to be, because we're going to have so many specials and so many like things to open and get people in the door. We'll probably have a big hump in the beginning, and then people might die off after 6 months.
Yeah,
That's
the biggest thing.
We'll have a lull.
Plan for.
We'll have a lull in 6 months. I didn't have any growth projected from 6 months, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't have any growth. People are going to be riding it out. And then by then we're going to start getting into Christmas season again, because my plan is to hopefully open this by January.
Okay. So
because it's not ideal because it's not before Christmas season, but it's still cold and people have nothing to do and it's dark early. And I'm like, you know what? This might be a cool thing for a new business to come in when people are just bored.
Yes. So realistically speaking, if you were to open in January, if your flow, we'll call it, of customers mimicked the shop down in Philly,
yep,
you would have okay, so is your plan to open as a fully functional shop in January, or like obtain access to a space in January?
It depends on how fast the bank gets back to me. If the bank gets back to me, if I talk to the bank in 4 weeks and they lay out what they want to see,
sure,
I go back and forth for a couple more weeks and say in 8 weeks from now, I actually submit an application. If it's a big bank, they could take 3 months to get back to me.
Yeah.
If it's a local small bank or someone off of a referral or someone in that, group in Willow Grove from the Rotary Club who owns a bank and runs a bank, maybe he'll get back to me quicker than that. And they get approved. I'll probably get rejected by the first couple of applications anyway, because they're not going to like something or whatever. So if it gets back where it takes 3 months to get back to me, I mean, that already puts me at the end of the year.
Yes.
So that would be procuring a spot.
Yes.
So procuring a spot and then working it out with some founding members. Be like, if you're a retired guy and you plan on being here, you know how to raise some drywall and do some painting and run some dust collection pipe, and you want to kind of volunteer some time, great. We'll get started. We'll cut a deal, and we'll figure out what membership looks like for you from helping out, get set up, whatever.
I mean, so the biggest way. Okay, so if you think of Power Build Warrington,
yes, exactly,
the Power Build.
I love their marketing before they opened.
So their biggest asset that they had as far as marketing going in, they already had 2 locations.
Okay.
So they had
a little bit of name recognition.
Yeah, they had King of Prussia and I think Conshohocken.
Okay.
So they're pretty heavily saturated in that one area.
Sure.
But there's 1,000,001 apartment buildings in there.
Yes.
Very dense population.
Absolutely.
Now, they had a huge following already. They were already one of the bigger names in like Southeast Pennsylvania bodybuilding, and stuff like that. But they hyped the shit out of it. They documented every step of the fit out. They played up the equipment they were bringing in, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
They definitely put a lot of money into marketing and advertising.
Yep.
And
they did it at the right time. There was an inevitable opening date.
Yes.
They knew when it was. They knew when they would be done and ready. Yep.
And so that's one of the other things where their other 2 locations were a big asset to them, because they knew roughly what their lead times were for buying equipment. They knew more or less. They had already set up a business twice.
Right.
So they had a rough idea of what the fit out time was going to be. They probably already had contractors locked and loaded.
Yep.
The other big thing that they did, they had I forget how they phrased it, and they 100% got me with it, was I think they called it their founding members rate.
Yeah, it was like a full year for like half off what a year would be or something.
Oh, it's lifetime.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's the whole reason that I have a membership there. It's because I got in at what was effectively 1 night's worth of drinks.
Right.
So It was a no brainer for me at the time.
It's 50. Call it. It was 50% off every month forever.
Yes,
for you.
And that was like the first 100 memberships,
and that's a lot. So that's for a gym model where people are going to just stop going after a while.
Yeah,
like that, and that's the same is true for this.
Yep,
people are going to do some projects and then take a couple months off, and then not come in, and then maybe they come in again, maybe they don't. But like a lot of people do that. I probably wouldn't do like a lifetime thing, but for the first year or two or something like that.
So So there were two different ways that you could pay for your founding members membership.
Mm-hmm.
You could go, if I remember correctly, it was like you could bill it for the entire month or the entire year at once.
Yep.
Or you could like pay month by month.
Right.
And I think you got like an additional 10% off.
Plus, it was all of the year. Yeah.
They have like a small retail area there where you can buy like supplements and protein powder and shit.
Right.
And you also get like a discount there if you're one of those founding platinum members.
Sure.
But effectively, I did the math on it, and in the first hour and a half, give or take, they sold out of the 100 or 150 spots or whatever that they had.
Yep.
And I forget exactly how the math worked out for that. No, it was more than 100 spots, because I remember doing the math, and they effectively had their first $100,000 in like sales guaranteed within the first hour and a half.
Yep.
And they hadn't even opened their doors yet.
So that's where I would work with a CPA to figure out where to put that money up front. Because like we could knock off half of the tool loan that we just financed. We could knock half that off and like go either refinance that with a different loan and spend a lot less per month, or put it in the bank and now we've covered rent and employees and insurance and everything for 6 months. Or like that is probably the way I would go, because I've already calculated the tool costs for that length of time, whatever.
Yes.
So that is already, but like covering the things that you need to pay that you don't have money for yet, I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm like, all right, essentially for the first 6 months, it's gravy and growth, and try to just see how many people we can get, how many classes we can get, and feel out all of the learning pains, get real numbers on membership, get real numbers on how full classes are, try to get a demand for, hiring that next full-time teacher, instructor, or whatever, and just expand that way. Because that's the thing, starting out with 6 lathes, fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can sell a class for 6 people turning bowls a couple times a week. You can probably do that, no problem. It's a cheap class. It's easy to get into.
Yep.
Well, if every single one is sold out, and then we add another night and that one sold out, another night and that one sold out. Now you get another 1099 instructor to come in one more day a week, and everyone's sold out. All right, let's now buy 2 more lathes and see if we can sell out with 8 people, and just keep on going until you're like teetering sold out all the time.
Yeah.
It's
so the members access wood shop is not exactly the most scalable of business models.
Right.
Because you do have a finite audience. You do have, there's, as much as we like to think there's a million of us out there.
Yeah.
There isn't a million people that are getting fully torqued over woodworking on a Wednesday night.
Especially guys starting businesses making furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of it is hobby.
Absolutely.
A lot of it is hobby, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like and that's the thing. We're limited with people, just in a density kind of way.
Yes.
We're limited with space already. We're limited with how many machines we can have. We're limited with how many teachers we can get. All that kind of stuff kind of works out to fill the space we have. And if we're doing well with that space, great. Then you can start tweaking other ways of making money and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because there are a million other ways of doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing that you can do, at least when you first start out, is just getting as many people through the door as possible.
Yep.
And, I mean, we'll have McCreesh drop off logs. We'll do sawmill demos.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like,
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of happy hours.
Yeah,
a lot of demo days, a lot of build offs with members if they want to come in. We'll do a one plywood table challenge, like whoever.
I love shit like
that's
that.
what I mean. Like
there's
fun
some cool stuff you can do.
Fun shit like that. We'll have entire like scout troops coming through for stuff. Them and their parents can get deals on stuff.
That is one of the other things that we want to look into. Like you said, the local scout troops, the people that are effectively through their own altruistic endeavors farming our future customers.
Well, and also things like scouts, they come, they go through scouts, they're in scouts for 3 years. This is part of the thing they do in scouts. They come and they take woodworking classes for a couple things, and then they graduate and go to high school, and then a new crop comes in.
Exactly.
And so you don't really need to expand. You just have consistent, predictable income from people like that.
Yes.
Just fantastic. It's same thing with school kids. I mean, this lady Sharv that I'm going to have on the program, who runs that Takeda makerspace in Atlanta. It's the same thing. It's all after school kid programs, and it's summer classes, and it's all summer camps and all this kind of shit. And there are always going to be a crop of kids with parents looking for something for them to do. So I think that's, while it may not be everyone's dream to just teach kids all day, if it's a moneymaker and it's going to keep the lights on all the time and then everything else is gravy, hell, why would you turn that away?
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, that's the name of the game, honestly. It's just consistent revenue.
Yep.
And once you can prove consistent revenue, the world's your oyster.
Exactly.
At that point.
And that's the thing. That's when you can start getting into, well, how are there other ways of making money? All right, we're closed on this day, or we're light on this day. Well, that is a day you do a full all day long class in the summer, because that's it. Because summer's light on membership. Maybe people aren't coming in because it's hot or whatever. Or they're vacationing and they're doing other stuff with their kids.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. In the summer, we'll do a full week-long immersive class on rocking chairs. Yeah. And have people come in from outside this immediate area to come take it, because we have some YouTube person teaching it.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
And
start experimenting with other mediums.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that after you've been operational for a year or 2 years or something, you can kind of map out where your capacity is and where your excess is as far as staffing and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can look at like excess staff capacity versus income throughout the rest of the year.
Yep.
And if you have, say, throughout like July and August, you have staff where you have like 20% downtime and you're at excess capacity, well, we can afford to run classes that are less profitable.
Absolutely. Experimental
take up
things.
more time.
Yep.
And we can do more cool shit.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, like rocking chair immersive classes.
Right.
Hope chests. Bunch of hand cut joinery shit.
Yeah. Things that are really going to either be focused on the people who are already members and they just want that additional, $80 for that class for that afternoon. Or you have a new crop of people who are just in it for the hobby that got a gift and they just want to come in and do something different.
Yeah.
I talk to this girl on Instagram a lot. She's in Texas. She's a jewelry maker that does amazing jewelry and also does glass blowing.
That's
like
what's up.
Cool as hell.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you need for glass blowing? She's like, 2 things.
Yeah, literally.
She's like, that's
super
it.
Simple.
I was like, okay, so if I went either, I don't know how I would rent these things, but if it's a matter of, let's try that class once.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work, we sell the equipment, or if I'm able to rent it from somewhere, or if she could find somewhere that we can just run one class and everyone loves it. Like, you know what? What if we did this class in 6 months? If we get people to sign up now, cool.
You want to see something cool?
I do.
You'll like this. Let me fucking find her on here. She's on here somewhere. It's actually Dustin's sister-in-law.
Nice.
I'm going to say hands down one of the best glass blowing artists.
That's cool.
That I have ever seen.
Very cool.
So her name on Instagram is Jess Wolf Glass.
Okay.
She's a little bit of a kind of a local name in like the glass blowing scene.
Mm-hmm.
She does a lot of like the local like the punk rock flea market stuff
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of jewelry and like sculptural work when she has time.
Yep.
But her main bread and butter as far as her business goes is like headpieces and stuff.
Oh, cool.
But she makes some gorgeous pipes, and not that long, actually. Okay, at this point, it was several years ago. I actually won one of her bird skull pipes.
Oh, cool.
That she made.
That's awesome.
Fucking look at that, dude.
That's
Isn't
incredible.
that crazy?
It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so like something like that. It's not really a heavy cost of entry. It's easy to run a class. It's something super unique. I mean, that's cool. That's just cool as hell.
Yeah.
I love that. But I mean, that's the plan. And I honestly, it's actually coming together where numbers are working. And so far, those who I have shown these things, anything that they have come up with is something that I've thought about already, which is good. I'm at the point where I'm not really getting big surprises.
Love that.
I do love that. But that being said, we got a big fucking surprise yesterday.
Surprise.
So I said in the last podcast, I had a feeling that I should probably take a break from commissions and focus on the makerspace and just get this thing open. Maybe give myself a gap. And I was on the fence like, well, why would I do that or whatever? I'm not going to just sit at home and just continue planning this nonstop. I need something else to do with my hands. But now we're kind of forced to do that. Found out that our shop is essentially going away. Our current shop that Jake and I work in, because the rent is more than tripling. And that is a hard stopper, kind of.
Yeah, the local government has approved a variance to an old statute, effectively allowing this property to be used for other industrial purposes that, long story short, will bring the landlords a much better rent.
Yeah, pretty much. That we are not willing to match.
Not willing or
able
to match, quite frankly.
Yep.
But I mean, that being said, it's been a good run in the space.
Yeah.
It's been probably 5, 6 years, give or take, that I've been in here. Probably 3 or 4 that you've been in here, at least.
Yes. Yeah. No. I mean, I moved in here during COVID.
Yeah.
I remember being in here with a mask on one day because I thought I had COVID.
I remember
it was like 2019. I have the pictures when I made the ad for Ennis.
Yeah. So I remember when you came by here and just dropped off an entire load of like round stock.
Yeah.
Because you thought you were going to make your own hairpin legs or whatever.
Yep.
And
it's like, oh boy.
I had no clue who you were.
Yep.
At that point, because it had already been about a year or so since I had like bought the shop from Ennis.
Yeah. At that point, we just had that initial conversation when you wanted information about the shop.
Yeah.
Because I was helping him sell it. I'm like, here's the deal with this old guy.
Yeah. There's this guy, but so here's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I had definitely crossed paths with you at Philly Woodworks.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't know you. And after your dad saw slabs on the side of my yard. Oh, my son's trying to look for a shop in this area. You don't say.
You know what, man? I know you're a big fan of like listening to the universe.
Oh yeah.
And stuff.
Yep.
I have, over the last week, I have had more like, wow, what a small world moments.
Yep.
Than I can remember.
Yeah.
I had one, so at my day job, one of the wiring technicians, he kind of like runs their wiring department. And he asked me to like send him a picture that I took of like a problem unit.
Yeah.
So he reads off his phone number and
you already have it.
I already had it saved in my phone.
Oh my God.
As Guy selling Suzuki bobber.
You bought a bike from him 8 years ago.
I almost bought a bike from him
That's so
almost 12 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Turns out one of the other guys from the shop bought it and still owns it.
That's really funny.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I've seen the bike pull into the shop and I keep thinking that it looks familiar.
Yeah.
And it has like a couple different parts on it and a paint job, but
that's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, after all, and his older brother is my boss.
Yeah, dude.
But no, everybody
is bananas. This shit is bad. I mean, it was 3 weeks ago. I said maybe I should take I've thought about having a break before opening this.
Yep.
And there are reasons why things happen.
Yep.
There really are. Because I'm at the point now where the small business guy said, you're at the point now where everyone gives up.
Yeah, effectively.
He's like, we're not scheduling another call until you are done with 12-month projections because that's what no one wants to do.
Yeah.
Because that's really annoying to do it.
It's annoying and
I could be wrong entirely after all that work.
Oh, absolutely. You could be wrong. And the other big thing is that a lot of people will look at a 12-month projection and it's not like fame and fortune.
No.
And they're like, well, fuck, why am I doing this?
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Like, and they're not in it for the long haul.
Exactly. Because, that's the main thing the guy asked me was, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I was like, because I want to one day own a business where I survive financially on owning that business and I get to work on things I want to work on.
Exactly.
Be surrounded by awesome people making shit. That's pretty much it. I want to live a modestly decent life doing things I want to do. And
what a wild concept, right?
Right. And one day, for some reason, my wife will be a receptionist and helping with doing marketing, and she won't have to work either, and no one will have to work for another person. Like, that's pretty much what I want. So he's like, that sounds great.
It's the American dream.
So he's just like, all right, now's when people quit. And so that's the thing. Ironically, now I will have to focus on that.
Yep.
In the meantime, we have to move so many large and heavy things and 2 tractor trailer loads of goddamn slabs from a lumberyard.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone is interested in bulk buying some slabs, hit me up.
Yeah, boy, do I have a deal for you, brother.
We're going to be talking some massive discounts if you come and pick up a truckload of slabs, because I do not want to move all of it.
Nope.
And at this point, I have used those slabs for almost 90% of my projects in the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I have gotten my money worth. I've gotten my money's worth out of it.
Absolutely.
All the milling costs and everything, I've got my money's worth. So
that's the thing. I mean, milling, you get your money's worth out of the first log. The rest is gravy.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I tell all of my customers.
Yep. So yeah, that's where we're at. So things like the CNC. Do I love the CNC? I like it.
Remember, this is a commercial for the CNC.
It is. I like it.
It's a great machine.
It has done great for what I've used it for. It has not been it's not the machine I want to end up with.
It has never let us down. It is an amazing buy. You should buy this machine. It's
for sale. I think it's for sale. I'll throw in a dust collector. That's wall mounted dust collector.
Hey, there it is.
It's a 5x10 machine. I have a vacuum table. It has updated software as a rebuilt computer last year. I mean, everything on it works. It's not the one with the tool changer that I want to get eventually. It's not the Laguna IQ 50-gram machine, all that kind of stuff, but it's still worth a lot of money, and it's heavy as hell with a welded steel frame. It's a nice machine.
Do your tool cost projections include a CNC at this point?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, those are much more exciting numbers now.
I put financing the Laguna IQ.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. With the 7 tool changer, with the 11 horsepower spindle, the whole thing.
Beautiful.
Built-in vacuum table. They come and set it up for you.
Oh, great.
Everything. It's door-to-door white glove service. Everything. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
They send them from Texas. The lead time is about 3 months.
Is that where Lagoon is located out? Texas?
Yeah, that's where they ship out of. I don't know if their headquarters are there, but that's where their warehouse is.
Interesting. Huh.
Um,
Well, that kind of makes sense. A lot of real.
at least the one that I was looking at. They probably got a couple throughout the country, but that's the one where I was looking at. But oh, good. You'll hear a nice little alarm from our tiny town. Probably those kids on bikes again.
Those damn kids on them bicycles.
I have almost hit those kids 3 times coming home from the shop. Like slammed my brakes on because they have crossed over traffic with no lights, reflectors, not even looking, not even caring. Like 13-year-olds on bikes in the dark have crossed my path while I was going like 30 miles an hour. It is petrifying.
I don't know that I've ever actually seen this band of roaming kids.
There are so many. There are several of them. And that's the thing. I have no problem. I've rode a bike around town all the time.
Yeah,
it's fine. I have no problem with kids on bikes.
I mean, that was like my
I have a problem with dumb kids on bikes.
And a relatively decent portion of my adult life, actually, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with it. I have a light on mine.
There you go.
So you can actually see me. Anyway.
But yeah, no, I see posts about them.
Yeah, they take them all down immediately now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyone that mentions kids on bikes is immediately flagged and taken down because people are so sick of it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's so stupid. It's like small town bullshit. It's so funny.
That's great. Oh, I love that. Well, you know what though? I mean, the last third of the month of August.
Oh yeah,
they're all going back to school in a week.
Winding down. Yep.
And
then it gets colder and they don't want to be outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the true definition of Champaign problems.
Absolutely.
We have beautiful weather.
Yep.
We have a perfectly bikeable small town.
Yep.
Yeah, there's gonna be kids.
Sure.
They're gonna do dumb shit like kids do.
Absolutely.
Do your best not to hit one, and if you hit one,
well,
do your best to stop.
That's it. Do your best. If you happen to drive off, I don't know why you did, but some people probably would. Anyway.
So where are we at time wise? We about an hour?
Yeah, we're about an hour.
Look at that.
And look at that. Battery's running low. This is the perfect time to call it quits.
There it is.
Listen, all money donated on the GoFundMe or through Patreon and patreon.com/MoncoMakers is going directly to the makerspace. We have a lot more stuff to buy and finance and all this kind of stuff. All the support goes a long way.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Keith from Blackthorn Concepts. You are amazing.
Keep your